of objects and subjects is the same for an enlightened as for an unenlightened person. This sutra says the appreciation of objects and subjects is the same for an enlightened as for an unenlightened.
Osho, Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, Volume 2, The Book of the Secrets, a new commentary. Secrets, a new commentary. Discourse number 33, given in Bombay, India.
Unenlightened person. The farmer has one greatness. This sutra says the appreciation of objects and subjects is the same for an enlightened as for an unenlightened person. The farmer has one greatness. He remains in the subjective mood, not lost in things. He remains in the subjective mood. He remains within himself. He remains centered in consciousness. This remaining in the subjective mood has to be practiced. And as many opportunities as you can get, try it. And every moment there is opportunity. Every single moment there is opportunity. Something or other is impressing you, dragging you out, pulling you out, pushing you in some desire, some direction. I am reminded of an old story. A great king, Bhartari, renounced the world. He renounced the world because he had lived in it totally. He had come to a realization that it is futile. It was not a doctrine to him. It was a lived reality. He has come to a conclusion through his own life. He was a man of strong desires. He had indulged in life as much as possible. Then suddenly he realized it is useless, futile. He left the world. He renounced. He went to a forest. He was meditating under a tree. The sun was rising. Suddenly he became aware just under a street, a small street, which passed nearby the tree. A very big diamond was there. As the sun was rising, it was reflected in the rays. Even Bhartari had not seen such a big diamond ever before. Suddenly, in a moment of unawareness, a desire arose to possess it. The body remained unmoved, but the mind has moved. But the body was in the posture of Siddhasana. He was meditating. But the meditation was no more there. Only the dead body was there. The mind has moved. The mind has gone to the diamond. But before he could move, two men came running from different directions on their horses, and both the horsemen became aware simultaneously of the diamond lying on the street. They pulled their swords, and each one was claiming that he had seen the diamond first. There was no other way to decide, so they had to fight. They fought, they killed each other. Both were dead within moments. Two dead bodies were lying there, around that diamond. Bhartari laughed, closed his eyes, went into meditation again. What happened? He again realized the futility. And what happened to these two men? The diamond became more meaningful than their own life. And this is what possession means. They could throw away their lives just for a stone. When desire is there, you are no more. The desire can lead you to suicide. Really, every desire is leading you to suicide. But when you are in the power of a desire, you are not in your senses. You are just mad. The desire had arisen in Bhartari's mind also to purchase. In a single fragment of moment, the desire had arisen. And he may have moved, but before he could move, these two persons came and they fought. And there were two dead bodies lying there. And the stone was there in its own place. Bhartari laughed, closed his eyes, went into his meditation again. For a single moment, his subjectivity was lost. The stone, the diamond, the object became more powerful. again, the subjectivity was regained. With the diamond, the whole world disappeared. He closed his eyes. Since centuries, meditators have been closing their eyes. Why? They are only symbolic. The world has disappeared. There is nothing to look at. Not worth even to look at. You will have to remember continuously, whenever desire arises, you have moved out of your subjectivity. This is the world, this movement. Regain, move back, get centered again. And whenever you will be able, and you will be able because the capacity is there with everyone. No one ever loses the inner potential. It is always there. You can move. If you can move out, you can move in. If I can go out of my house, why I cannot come return back? The same route has to be traveled. The same legs have to be used. I can go out, I can come in. Every moment you are moving out, whenever you move out, remember and suddenly come back. Be centered. If you feel it is difficult in the beginning, then take a deep breath, exhale, stop. In that stop moment, look at the thing which was attracting you. Really, nothing is attracting you, you were attracted. That diamond there, lying on the street in that lonely forest, was not attracting anybody. It was simply lying there, being itself. The diamond was not aware that Bhattari has been attracted. Someone has moved from his meditation, from his subjectivity, come to the world. Someone has come into the world. The diamond was not aware that two persons have lost their lives. For it. So nothing is attracting you, you get attracted. Be alert and the bridge will be broken. And you will regain balance inside. Go on doing it more and more. The more you do, the better. A moment will come when you will not need to do it. Because the inner power will give you such a strength that the attraction of things will be lost. It is your weakness which is attracted. Be more powerful. And nothing will attract you. And only then for the first time you are master of your own being. That gives you real freedom. No political freedom, no economic freedom, no social freedom can be of much help. Not that they are not desirable, they are good in themselves. But they will not give you the thing which the innermost core of your being is longing for. The freedom from things, from objects. The freedom to be oneself without any possibility of being possessed by anything or anybody. Second technique is similar in a way, but from a different dimension. Believe, omniscient, omnipotent, pervading. That too is based on inner power, inner strength. Very seed-like. Believe that you are omniscient, all-knowing. Believe that you are omnipotent, all-powerful. Believe that you are pervading, all-pervading. How can you believe? It is impossible. You know you are not all-knowing. You are ignorant. You know you are not all-potent. You are absolutely powerless, helpless. You know you are not all-pervading, you are confined in a small body. So how can you believe it? And if you believe, knowing well that this is not the case, the belief will be useless. You cannot believe against yourself. You can force a belief, but it will be useless, meaningless. You know it is not so. A belief becomes useful only when you know that this is so. This has to be understood. A belief becomes powerful if you know this is the case. True or untrue is not the point. If you know this is the case, a belief becomes truth. If you know this is not the case, then even a truth cannot become a belief. Why? Many things have to be understood. First, whatsoever you are is your belief. You believe that way. You have been brought up in that way. You have been conditioned in that way. So you believe. And your belief influences you. It becomes a vicious circle. For example, there are races where man is less powerful than woman. Because those races believe that a woman is more powerful, more strong, stronger than man. Their belief has become a fact. In those races, man is weaker, woman is stronger. The woman goes on doing all the work that ordinarily in other countries men will do. And men go on doing the work that in other countries women will do. Not only that, their bodies are weak. Their structure is weak. They have come to believe that this is so. The belief creates phenomena. Belief is creative. Why this happens? Because mind is more powerful than matter. So if mind believes really something, the matter has to follow. The matter cannot do against the mind. Matter is dead. Even impossibles happen. Jesus says, faith can move mountains. Faith can move. And if your faith cannot move, that only means that you don't have faith. Not that faith cannot move mountains. Your faith cannot move because you don't have faith. Now, much research is going on this phenomenon of belief. And science is coming to many unbelievable conclusions. Religion always believed. But science is coming to those same conclusions. It has to come. Because many phenomena for the first time are being searched. For example, you may have heard about placebo medicines. There are hundreds and hundreds of pathies in the world. Allopathy and Ayurvedic and Unani and homeopathy and naturopathy and hundreds. And they all claim that they can cure. And they cure. Their claims are not false. This is a rare thing. Because their diagnosis is different. Their treatment is different. There is one illness. And there are 101 diagnoses. And then 101 treatments. And every treatment helps. So the question is bound to be raised. Whether really treatment helps or the belief of the patient. This is impossible. So in many countries, in many ways, in many universities, in many hospitals, they are working on placebo medicines. Just water or something non-medicinal is given. But the patient believes that a medicine has been given. Not only the patient, but the doctor also believes, because the doctor is not also aware. Because even if the doctor is aware, that will affect. Because more than the medicine, the doctor gives the belief to the patient. So when you pay more and you have a bigger doctor, you get well better and sooner. It is a question of belief. If the doctor just gives you a 4 anna medicine, just 4 annas, you know well that nothing is going to happen. How? Such a big patient with such a big disease, such a great phenomenon, is going to be cured by 4 annas. Impossible. The belief cannot be created. Every doctor has to create around him a phenomenon of belief, an aura of belief. That helps. So if the doctor knows that this is just water he is giving, he will not give with belief, with faith. His face will show, his hand will show, his whole attitude and behavior will show that he is giving just water. And the unconscious of the patient will be affected. The doctor must believe. The more he believes, the better, because his belief is infectious. The patient looks at the doctor. If the doctor feels confident that, don't worry, this is a new treatment, a new medicine. This is going to help you 100%. There is no doubt about it. The whole personality of the doctor gives the impression of 100% hope. Already, even before giving the medicine, the patient is being cured. Already the cure has started. Now they say that whatsoever you give, 30% patients will be cured almost immediately. Whatsoever you give, allopathy, naturopathy, homeopathy, or any pathy, or any homeopathy, whatsoever you do, 30% patients will be cured immediately. Those 30% are believers. That is the ratio. If I look at you, then in you, 30% are the potential ones who will immediately be transformed. Once they get the belief, immediately the belief will start working. 1/3 of whole humanity can be immediately transformed, changed to new orders of being without any difficulty. Then the question is how to create the belief in them. Once the belief is there, then nothing can debar them. You may be one of those fortunate ones, the 30%. But a great misfortune has happened to humanity, and that is those 30% are condemned. The society, the education, the civilization, all condemn them. They are thought to be stupid people. They are more potential people. They have a great power, but they are condemned. And impotent intellectual people are praised. Because they can play with language, words, reason, they are praised. And really, they are simply impotent. They cannot do anything in the real world of inner being. They can just go on with their mind. But they possess the universities. They possess the news media. They are the masters in a way. And they are artists in condemnation. They can condemn anything. And this 30% potential humanity, those who can believe and can get transformed, they are not so articulate, they cannot be. They cannot reason. They cannot argue. That's why they can believe. So they cannot argue their case. They have themselves become self-condemned. They think something is wrong. If you can believe, you start feeling that something is wrong with you. If you can doubt, you think something is great with you. But doubt is not a force. Through doubt, never anyone got to the innermost being, to the ultimate ecstasy. No one ever. If you can believe, then this sutra will be helpful for you. Believe, omniscient, omnipotent, pervading. You are that already. And just by believing it, all that is hiding you, that is covering you, will fall down immediately. But even for those 30% ones, it will be difficult. Because they are also conditioned to believe in something which is not the case. They are also conditioned to doubt. They are also trained to be skeptical. And they know their limitations, so how they can believe. Or if you believe, people will think they are mad. If you say that you believe that inside you is the all-pervading, the omnipotent, the divine, the all-powerful, then people will look at you and they will think you have gone crazy. How can you believe such things unless you are mad? But try something. Start from the very beginning. Have a little feeling of this phenomenon, then belief will follow. Do one thing. If you want to use this technique, close your eyes and just feel that you have no body. As if the body has disappeared, melted away. Then you can feel your all-pervadingness. With the body it is difficult. That's why many traditions go on teaching that feel that you are not the body. Because with the body, limitation comes in. If you can feel you are not the body, it is not difficult because you are not the body. This is just a condition that you are the body. This is just a thought that has been forced upon your mind. Your mind has been impregnated with the thought that you are the body. There are phenomena. In Ceylon, Buddhist monks walk on the fire. In India also. But the Ceylonese phenomena is very rare. They walk for hours. They are not burnt. So it happened once, just a few years before. One Christian missionary went to see the fire walk. They do it on the night when Buddha became enlightened. The full moon night, when Buddha became enlightened, they do it. Because on that day, they say, it was revealed to the world that body is nothing. Matter is nothing. The inner being is all-pervading. The fire cannot burn. But for this, those monks who walk on the fire for 1 year completely, they purify their body through pranayama, breathing processes, fasting, meditate, purify their minds, empty their minds. For 1 year continuously they prepare. They live in isolated cells, just feeling that they are not their bodies. For 1 year continuously. A group of 50, 60 monks goes on thinking they are not their body. A year is a long thing. Every moment thinking only one thing, they are not their body. Continuously hammering that the body is illusory. They come to believe. Then too, they are not forced to walk on the fire. They are brought to the fire, and then whosoever thinks that he will not be burned, he jumps into it. Few remain doubting, hesitating. They are not allowed. Because this is not a question of fire burning or not, this is a question of their doubt. If they hesitate a little, they are stopped. So 60 are prepared, sometimes 20, sometimes 30 people jump into it. They dance in the fire for hours together, without anybody. One missionary came to see it just in 1950. And he was so much surprised. And then he thought, if belief in Buddha can do this miracle, then why not believe in Jesus? So he thought for a while. He hesitated a little. But then, the idea was this, that if Buddha can help, then Jesus will also help. So he jumped. He got burned, badly burned. Had to be hospitalized for 6 months. But he couldn't understand what was the phenomenon. It is not a question of Jesus or Buddha. It is not a question of belief in someone, it is a question of belief. And that belief has to be hammered into the mind. Unless it reaches to the very core of your being, then it starts working, then it functions. So that Christian missionary went back to England to study about hypnosis, mesmerism and allied phenomena, that what is happening in this fire walking. Then they invited 2 monks in Oxford University to give a demonstration. The monks went. They walked on the fire. Many times the experiment was tried. Then those 2 monks saw that one professor was looking at them. And he was looking so deeply and he was so involved. His eyes, his face, they were ecstatic. So those 2 monks went near the professor and told him that you can also come with us. Immediately he ran with them, jumped into the fire, and nothing happened. He was not burnt. The Christian missionary was also present. And he knew well that this professor was a professor of logic. A man who is professionally doubtful. His profession is based on doubt. So he asked that man, what? You have done a miracle. I couldn't do it, and I am a believer. The professor said, in that moment, I was a believer. This phenomenon was so real, so fantastically real, it gripped me. It was so clear that body is nothing and mind is everything. And I felt so ecstatically in tune with these 2 monks. And when they invited me, there was not a single hesitation. It was so simple to walk on it. Just as if there was no fire. But there was no hesitation, no doubt. That's the key. So first, to try this experiment, sit with closed eyes for a few minutes, just thinking that you are not your body. Not only thinking, but feeling that you are not your body. And if you sit with closed eyes, a distance is created. Your body goes on moving away and away. You go on moving inwards. A great distance is created, and you can feel you are not the body. If you feel you are not the body, then you can believe you are all-pervading, omnipotent, omniscient, all-knowing, all-powerful. This all-powerfulness or this all-knowingness is not concerned with so-called knowledge. It is a feeling, an explosion of feeling that you know. This has to be understood, particularly in the West. Whenever you say that you know, they will ask, what? What do you know? Knowledge must be objective. You must know something. And if it's a question of knowing something, you cannot be all-pervading. No one can be. Because infinite facts are there to be known. No one can be all-knowing in that sense. That's why in the West they laugh. When Jains claim that Mahavira was Sarvajna, all-knowing, they laugh. Because if Mahavira was all-knowing, then he must have known all that science is discovering now. Even that which science will discover in future. But that doesn't seem to be the case. And obviously, he says many things which are contradictory to science, which cannot be true, which are not factual. His knowledge, if it is all-pervading, must never be erroneous, but there are errors. Christians believe that Jesus was all-knowing, but the modern mind will laugh, because he was not all-knowing. All-knowing in the sense of knowing all the facts, and knowing all about the facts of the world. He didn't know that the earth is circular. The earth is a globe, he didn't know it. He knew that the earth is a flat ground. He didn't know that the earth has been in existence for millions and millions of years. He believed that God created just 4,000 years before him. As far as facts, objective facts are concerned, he is not all-knowing. But this word all-knowing is totally different. When the Eastern sages say all-knowing, they don't mean knowing all about the facts. They mean all conscious, all aware, fully inside, fully conscious, enlightened. They are not concerned with knowing something, they are concerned only with the pure phenomena of knowing. Not knowledge, but the very quality of knowing. When we say Buddha knows, we don't mean that he knows what Einstein knows. He doesn't know that. He is a knower. He knows his own being. And that being is all-pervading. That feeling of isness is all-pervading. And in that knowing, nothing remains to be known. That's the point. Now, there is no curiosity to know anything. All questions have dropped. Not that all answers have been achieved. All questions have dropped. Now, there is no question to be asked. All curiosity has gone. There is no problem to be solved. This inner quietness, this inner silence, filled with inner light, is infinite knowing. This is what is meant by omniscient. Subjective awakening. This you can do. And this will not happen if you go on adding more knowledge to your mind. You can go on adding for lives together. You will know something, but you will never know all. The all is infinite. It cannot be known in that way. Science will remain always incomplete. It can never be complete. That's impossible. Inconceivable that it can be complete. Really, the more science knows, the more it comes to know that more has to be known. This all-knowingness is the inner quality of